Welcome to the RadioU Podcast. Coming up, why Sephora may be the new Chuck E. Cheese.
Also, President Trump is determined to balance the budget one penny at a time.
All that and more on the way next. Happy Monday. Thanks for hanging with Hudson and Allie on RadioU. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, your Super Bowl champions. That's right. The NFL referees cooked the books so the Eagles could win the Super Bowl. You see how ridiculous that sounds when you say it about anybody else but the Chiefs?
Yep.
That's what you sound like. That's what everybody's saying. Not you.
I was going to say, I didn't say that.
All the people that now you'd be like, well, they didn't do the Eagles. Why not? Why not? The Eagles, a dominating performance to take home the Super Bowl win. It's one of those things where with Patrick Mahomes, it was like, if it's a close game, you know he's going to win it,
right?
Whether it's the referees or whatever. And so the Eagles did the only thing you can do, and that's make sure it wasn't a close game at all.
Yep, too big to rig, if you will. They just absolutely demolished them. I went to bed after the Devonta Smith touchdown, which made it 34-0. I was like, all right, I think we're good.
Yeah,
I'm going to head to bed now.
Even Mahomes can't do that.
Yeah, no.
In one quarter, or less than a quarter, I think it was. So the Eagle. What was amazing is how good the Eagles defense played, because they got, I think, 6 sacks.
Yeah.
Many more than that. Pressures and QB hits. And I don't think they blitzed once. It was just their 4 down linemen are just running roughshod through the Chiefs O-line, which had not, it wasn't the best O-line in the league, but it hadn't been an issue until they get to facing the Eagles. That is how dominant their defensive line was. How do you stop that? You can't do it.
No, there's no stopping that. They're not even bringing extra guys. So imagine if they would have, how absolutely abysmal that would have been. But yeah, I was texting with my cousin Kathy, and I was like sharing with her, and she said the same thing. We had not seen the Chiefs play this badly before. They just looked awful out the gate. And then, they received the ball starting in the second half. They looked terrible even then. Mm-hmm. So it was like, clearly they don't even have the adjustments to try and make this a game. They just looked lost almost the entire time. That is true. It felt like for the Chiefs, they were surprised by what was happening their plan was to pass the ball a lot because you were going to have a tough time rushing on the Eagles. And then by the time they realized, well, this isn't going to work. We can't just pass every time. We're not going to get these short passes. It was too late to start running too, because you're already down so big. So there just was no adjustment they could make in time for it to be anywhere close to a game. And so an amazing game by the Eagles. And now, the Eagles, what was amazing about the Eagles is Jalen Hurts wins the MVP, the Super Bowl MVP. And coming into the game, everybody talks about how stacked the Eagles roster is. Yeah. And it is, and it's going to continue to be. They're going to be tough to beat going forward. And think about how crazy this is. That Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl MVP coming into the game, and he played a great game. Yes. But you almost would say, out of the weak spot on their roster, if there was one, it wasn't not that this isn't a knock on Jalen Hurts. It's just the rest of the roster is so stacked. Jalen Hurts being a top 12 quarterback. Yeah. He's the weak spot on the roster. And will he be able to play well enough? And of course, he played a fantastic game as well with his legs and with his arm. Yeah, I think he definitely deserved to get that in that instance, because it just felt like, even though, like you said, it wasn't, you don't look at his stats and you're like, immaculate. What an amazing performance. Absolutely outstanding. 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's just seems almost average. But when you look at that score and then, how the game played out, you're just like, who are you going to give it to? But yeah, I do think could you just give it to the whole defensive line? Because that's what they really should have done. But Jalen Hurts earned it, though. And just looking forward, what if we get... I could totally see, people are tired of the Chiefs and Eagles, even though it's only happened twice now. What tells you that they're not going to be back for a rematch in the next year or 2 or 3? The Eagles aren't going anywhere. Yeah, no.
I don't know.
The Chiefs still have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes,
right.
So that's all you need.
And this is going to invigorate them even more to get back and to try and win again, because now they're like the underdog or whatever. But I feel like, we said on Friday, at least I said on Friday, when we were giving our Super Bowl predictions, it felt like Kansas City is inevitable. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the Eagles showed up and was like, never mind that. But it feels like these two teams are just like the two that are dominating right now.
Yeah. I could, hey, look, hopefully the Packers can cause some disruption, or hopefully Aaron Rodgers goes somewhere and can cause some disruption. But outside of that, we're just getting Chiefs and Eagles, I believe, for the next 5 years.
Maybe.
Now, Allie, I want you to think back to when you were like 13, 14. Were you in Africa at that time?
Yes.
So probably no Sephoras in Africa.
No.
Imagine there was a Sephora and you could have had your 13th birthday party at Sephora. How jazzed would you have been?
Absolutely zero jazz, because I was very much so a tomboy.
Okay, so Sephora, now you're thinking at all.
Sephora was not my thing. I got into makeup like later in life, more like probably 17, 18, 19.
Would you have been really frustrated if one of your friends invited you to her birthday party and you found out it was at Sephora?
I don't know if
like, dang it. Thought it was going to be fun.
Right. I don't know if I would have been frustrated, but it definitely would not have been something where I'm like actually excited to go do that, compared to like if we went and did something fun for kids, like going to, I don't know, like a trampoline park or something like that.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but now this is what I'm reading anyways, that for 13, 14-year-old girls, that this is what's fun for kids. And I hate this. I hate when they call kids tweens. When I was a tween, you know what? I didn't want to be called a tween. Like I'm growing up. I'm a teenager now. I'm at least a middle schooler. Like, at least call me a middle schooler.
Well, I think tween is kind of like for those that aren't quite teenagers yet. They're in between that childhood and teenage years, so they're like in betweeners. So I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't like it.
Okay,
I never liked it.
That's fair. It is kind of an annoying little tag.
But that's not here nor there.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Why do you have to differentiate? Either you're a child.
No, I think you do need to differentiate a little bit, because I think that age is kind of a very interesting age.
But when you're 12, the last thing you want to be is not a teenager.
Sure.
You want to be a teenager. So just call them teenagers. They have the same attitude.
When you're talking to a 12-year-old, yes, they don't want to be considered not a teenager yet. So I want to treat them with they respect that they probably don't deserve. And that's the thing is it's like you're describing them as something they don't have that yet.
Let's do this. Young teenagers.
They're not teenagers yet.
Even preteen is better than tween.
Sure, I would probably say preteen more than tween.
This is all neither here nor there, though. The real question is Sephora birthday parties. I guess my question was going to be, if I was 12, what would be like the boy equivalent of Sephora birthday parties now?
I mean, I feel like boys, they'd probably want to go to like a video game place.
Right.
Laser tag, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's something with gaming, but like just, I don't know, like having your buddies over and we all stay up all night playing Fortnite or whatever. Yeah. It doesn't feel quite the same as Sephora.
No.
Like, I feel like we're getting, as boys, the raw end of the deal in this scenario.
Right. Well, Sephora
But we're just happy. We're simpler pleasures. Yeah. We're cheaper to deal with.
Well, potentially.
Just buy us it says here, like Sephora, this mom says, she gave all the girls a $20 gift card, which they complained about because it wasn't worth enough to cover what they wanted.
Because Sephora's expensive.
And then they got sample bags as well. You can make a bunch of teenage boys much happier. Just give us Mountain Dew, all the Mountain Dew we can handle. or maybe some Prime,
Yeah.
and pizza, and I think we're good.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But here's what I believe. And again, I was a tomboy, so I wasn't in this phase in this time in my life when I was this age of what this mom is describing. But I do think it's true that girls do grow up quicker and kind of mature quicker.
Yeah.
And so they get into things like this. They're interested in makeup, they're interested in hair products, and trendy clothes and trendy this and whatever. And so to me, it's like, this being a new thing, it makes sense.
They want to be grown up.
Yes, absolutely.
They don't want to be called tweens.
That is a part of it. But also they want to, they want to just look good. Or I don't even know what the right word to describe it is, but they like the trendy stuff.
I still haven't grown up, and I still don't care about looking good. Now, MrBeast, remember how we talked about a while ago? He was renting out the Egyptian pyramids.
Yeah, I saw he came out with that video for it.
Yeah, I thought it would. I don't want to. I'm not being critical, but like for all the money he spent and whatever, I wish it was more interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I also was a little disappointed. I was like, I thought it was going to be better than this.
And is Nolan so annoying?
Is Nolan?
The
video?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Nolan's the worst. Okay, so MrBeast, he needs to up the ante. He just bought several days with the Egyptian pyramids, and he made, by his standards, a fairly mediocre video. So he's got to do something bigger and better next time.
Yes.
One of his ideas, he just said to none other than Shaquille O'Neal on Shaq's podcast, The Big Podcast with Shaq, he says he might try to break Shaq's Walmart shopping spree, quote unquote, record. It's not, I don't know if it's a real record, but the story goes that when Shaquille O'Neal was traded from Phoenix to Miami, to the Miami Heat, he went on a Walmart shopping spree that totaled $70,000 that he spent at Walmart. And so MrBeast is like, I want to buy out a Walmart, rent out a Walmart, and do the try to recreate and beat your shopping spree. Shaq says he might not be able to because Walmart won't let him.
Yeah, apparently Shaq tried to do this. Shaq tried in 2005 after Hurricane Katrina to go to a Walmart and buy everything for people, and the Walmart wouldn't let him. And the reason why Walmart, at least from my understanding, won't allow people to do this is because while it sounds like a good idea, it also creates some problems for people that might not be able then to access stuff that they need. And so it's like, it's not exactly logistically friendly to those that are not getting helped by whatever, because MrBeast is giving all of this stuff away if he does this. But to those that aren't there in that instance where they might be able to be benefactors of this free stuff, now they just have no option for anything to buy from Walmart that they might need.
Something tells me, though, MrBeast can figure this out.
I think
he rented out the entire pyramids of Giza or whatever. He's going to be able to figure out a way to do Walmart. I think I already have a solution.
Okay.
He's got to find a Walmart that's under construction.
Okay.
That's being built right now, or maybe remodeled, and it's closed for remodeling or something. And then before its grand opening or grand reopening, he gets to be the first one to go through, which would make it even more. It's like, oh, I was the first one to shop at this Walmart and I bought everything in the store or something.
Right.
Problem solved.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a great way to do it. He also mentioned potentially going to like a Walmart that's about to close. And buying everything off their
shelves. I feel like Walmart wouldn't want to promote that, though.
No, and also, have we seen many Walmarts closing down recently?
Yeah.
I feel like grocery stores are the one retail, in-person stores that aren't closing. More of them are opening.
Yeah, business seems to be booming for Walmart, even though I'm so mad about this. I'm boycotting my local Walmart.
Okay.
Because they remodeled like a year or two ago. Literally, everything is locked up.
Oh, yeah. I think you mentioned that last week.
I forgot about this, but not only is the makeup locked up, which obviously doesn't really affect me, but everything in the cosmetics, everything in the tools. I had to buy an Allen wrench recently. The Allen wrenches are locked up. It's $4.
That's crazy.
So I'm not going to that Walmart anymore. So maybe MrBeast, if Walmart won't let him do this, he can do what I do. go to Target.
Yeah, just try a different store.
Yeah, Walmart, you don't want this advertisement because you think it's not logistically feasible. What about the people that want to shop at Walmart while I'm doing the video? Target, baby. It's better.
Okay.
We were all watching football last night. Sure, the ratings will show that. And of course, along with that came the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. Allie, and I want everybody to chime in. Like, what did you think of Kendrick Lamar and SZA 8772 Radio U? Your thoughts on the halftime show? What did you think, Allie?
I mean, I gotta be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of that style of music.
Mm-hmm. So
probably the best word to describe it is tuned out for most of it, where I was just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit me. And I like rock music. I like interesting melody, all of that type of stuff. It's just, I can appreciate what Kendrick does. I feel like he is very talented. Mm-hmm. I don't want to deny that at all. But I also did see a lot of people complaining about the performance overall. So I guess I'm not a fair judge of it. So I didn't feel like there was anything egregious about the performance where I'm like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. But I did see a lot of people complaining. But like I said, it's not for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it was, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I like Kendrick Lamar, but I feel like, and this was foreseeable, he may not have been the best halftime show choice because,
he's not as hype.
I thought it was fun and good energy and whatever, but the Super Bowl, to me, for the halftime show, you want songs that everybody can sing along with.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of people that have never, last year was Rihanna, right?
Right.
Even if you're not if you don't follow the newest trends and you don't listen to everything that's popular, whatever, your parents know Rihanna songs. Right. Even if you ask them what songs did Rihanna sing, they may not know, but they would be like, oh yeah, I know this one.
Yeah. You've heard Diamonds in the Sky.
There was a lot of people that have never heard any Kendrick Lamar song last night.
Yeah.
And Kendrick Lamar is awesome, but his show was not the kind of show because nothing was catchy about it, whatever. It's not going to win people over that have never heard of him before last night. And so I just felt like it was for the section of people that already were big Kendrick fans, it was awesome. So it was a good concert. Yeah. It was a cool experience if you're a fan of him. But if you aren't a huge fan or if you've never really heard much of Kendrick before, it wasn't going to be the kind of thing that won you over.
Right.
It's not, you aren't listening to hardly any of it. Maybe not like us. You're like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. But I even think a lot of people haven't heard that song right now.
Right. And that's how it is for me. It's the main aspect of Kendrick Lamar that I even know about is his beef with Drake. And so of course I was like, oh, he called out Drake. He gave a little, wink and nod and smile to the camera. It's that part is kind of the only thing where I was like, oh yeah, I get that. But everything else I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Just very divisive. If it's not your thing, it was really not your thing.
Yeah.
But if you have any familiarity, the choreography was cool.
Oh, yeah. I thought
that was amazing.
Neat. I thought that was neat, too. Yeah.
I like that they can bust that out for show. That is a cool thing about the Super Bowl halftime show, that they get the resources to put into that you may not see if you went to see a regular concert.
Sure.
Which makes it exciting. But again, it's just not a show that I think the average person could get into.
Yeah.
And it's just because he's not even niche. He's one of the biggest rappers in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's just not. But still, rap is a segmented thing.
Yeah.
So it makes it tougher to win everybody over, unfortunately.
Right. And we had a performance not too long ago that was full rappers, but they were rappers that have been around for years.
Yeah.
Their songs were a lot bigger.
Talking about the Super Bowl halftime show, some thoughts coming in. Regina says, yes, the choreography. She said, she does enjoy rap in general. She thought it was pretty good. Couldn't hear the lyrics due to talking, people around. But even if you didn't, he goes so fast, Kendrick Lamar does, that if you don't know the songs, you haven't heard them a million times, trying to keep up, and then he had to edit the lyrics, cursing and stuff. So that's what I said to my people I was watching with. I was like, it must be hard for him to not curse, since every other time in his life, he's probably saying these songs with curse words in them.
Right.
Stuff that you can't say on TV. So that must have been like an actual challenge for him. He probably had to practice that a lot.
I would imagine, yeah.
Matthew said he totally agrees with me, but I forgot about this. This shows how bad last year's halftime show must have been. It was Usher, not Rihanna. Do you even remember that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Rihanna was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I did not remember Usher, honestly.
I don't remember Usher. You know, he came out with, I do remember this. He came out with an album right around the Super Bowl. Uh-huh. What happened with that?
I do not remember. And that's the thing, is it's like, you know, we had Dr. Dre and a few, I'm trying to remember who it was. It was like it's Snoop Dogg, right? They were all together, the rappers that were all together.
50 Cent came out upside down looking beefy. And Kendrick Lamar was there, and he did one song or two, and that was like the perfect amount of him.
Yeah, it was great. And he came in, and you were like, "Yes, this is what rap sounds like."
Yeah,
but yeah, I feel like rap really can work in the Super Bowl format, as you were saying about, like, you know, it just needs to have that unifying factor of like everybody knows this song and everyone can kind of get into it. And those songs with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg have that capability, less so with Kendrick's newer stuff, where it's like everyone's like, yeah, this sounds cool and it looks cool, but I have never heard this.
Yeah, he really got Drake on this one, which I appreciate, but still have people like, a lot of people just don't know what he's saying. The Samuel L. Jackson thing, like, I feel like that kind of made sense in some regard. Like, if you followed along, he said before, Kendrick Lamar did, he said before the halftime show, what to expect? And he said storytelling. Like, he had a through line going through everything, and Samuel L. Jackson was with that. But if you don't know the songs ahead of time and you don't have, like, you don't know the lyrics or whatever.
Don't know the lore.
Yeah, it's just going way too fast for anybody to keep up.
Yeah,
so.
and I was one of those people. I was out of the loop. I was like, okay, this looks cool, but I don't know what's happening
and who
right
has
now.
an attention span long enough to pay attention to something where, like, long enough to figure it out
and
if you don't get it right at first.
And that's why I said I tuned out. Like, I just was kind of like, I mean, this looks cool, but other than that, I haven't, like I said, it's not for me, so I don't want to judge Kendrick, because I don't want to say, like, this performance was awful, because it's not meant for me.
Yeah.
But, I tuned out.
Good performance, bad halftime show.
Yeah.
I think is a fair way to put it.
I think that's a fair way to put it.
Bad, not the best choice.
Yeah.
Of course, Super Bowl was yesterday, but before the Super Bowl came another football headline, and this one, honestly, baffling. The New York Jets informed Aaron Rodgers that they do not want him back for the upcoming season in 2025-26. So that means Aaron Rodgers will be free if he so chooses to play with any NFL team that will take him, or he may very well retire. From the reporting I heard on this, it sounds like the Jets' new coach, Aaron Glenn, wasn't very enthused about having Aaron Rodgers back. So it was kind of his call that they decided not to bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is kind of shocking because, I mean, if you look at his stats on the season, not a bad season for Aaron Rodgers.
He had like the same stats as, I think, Patrick Mahomes.
He even as not far below from Josh Allen, who just won MVP.
Yeah.
So, I think I guess it's surprising, but also not surprising because it's the New York Jets.
Yeah.
And they're going to do stuff like this. So I don't think Aaron Rodgers should retire. I think he should try again. You know, he finally had a season where I felt like he wasn't plagued by injury.
Yeah.
So maybe he can have another one. Who knows? I mean, he's getting up there. He's 41.
Yeah, 41 now.
I feel like his opportunity is running out. So if he wants to try and do it again with a different team, run it back, then now or never, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious if he was going to come back, which teams would be interested. Because the thing is, the teams that need a quarterback outside of the Jets, he would, if the Jets didn't have a quarterback and Aaron, like if he hadn't been there, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, we need a quarterback this year. He would be the perfect choice.
Right.
Because it's like, this is a roster that could win now. And we need, and instead of drafting a quarterback with our not very good draft, I mean, like they have a high pick, but it's not a very good quarterback draft. And they don't pick high enough to get one of the top guys.
Right.
So drafting a guy in the first round probably doesn't make sense for them. I don't think they can trade up. nor would that probably be a smart choice either.
Yeah.
He would have been a perfect fit. And they're like, no, Aaron, get out of here. So I don't know. But anyways, the other quarterback needy teams are not as much in a position to win now. And so for Aaron Rodgers, that wouldn't be best because he needs to win now. He's only got a year or two left.
Right.
And why would they want him? Like, I don't know. I guess maybe get the Raiders, the Titans, get fans excited to have something to cheer for.
Yeah.
Even though you're probably, even with Aaron Rodgers, going to be mediocre at best. I don't know. Like, I don't know where he goes. Maybe the Steelers?
Maybe the Steelers. That wouldn't be a horrible option. For whatever reason, the team that came to my mind, and I just know that they are probably going to do something like this, and that's the Browns.
Hey, we could be fellow Browns fans.
I just feel like the Browns will just end up in some type of way involved in this situation.
That would be amazing. I'd be happy to have him on the Browns. He'd finally have a good coach again. And hopefully a good defense, or defense could bounce back. Maybe
if Myles Garrett won't be there.
I forgot about the Browns as a potential option.
Yeah.
But that's just what they need is Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know if it's just what they need, but they are definitely in need of a quarterback. I could see them trying their best to get Aaron Rodgers.
Meanwhile, think about how dumb this is from the Jets' perspective. We finally have the first halfway decent quarterback we've had on our franchise in 20 years? Maybe more?
Right.
And we're telling him to leave.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Aaron Glenn wants to build a culture. A culture of what? Having a bottom third defense like you did in Detroit every year? Okay.
Yeah,
have fun with it. Who are you going to have a quarterback? Ryan Tannehill?
Who knows? It sounds like he's just ready to rebuild. He just wants to start fresh.
You don't know what you have till it's gone.
Yep.
And I think they found that out a little bit with firing Robert Saleh, and now they're going to find out with Aaron Rodgers. What are they going to do?
I have no idea. I don't care, honestly.
Lose a bunch.
I don't care about the Jets.
Yeah. I hope Aaron Rodgers winds up on the Browns. Or the Steelers so I can cheer against the Browns. I just want to cheer for Aaron Rodgers. Let's do our Monday tradition, the box office breakdown, looking at what made money and what didn't in theaters over the weekend. And of course, let us know anything you've seen lately in your review at 8772 Radio U. Listen, there's no two ways about this. The box office not strong this weekend. Not a big weekend for the box office. However, that being said, not a horrible weekend for Dogman, the animated movie about a dog and a human that's a police officer that get combined into one. It got to number one at the box office for the second consecutive week, making another $15 million or $13 million. So not a horrible weekend for Dogman. People really seem to like that one.
Apparently.
Yeah. Now, number two at the box office, maybe possibly disappointing showing. I don't know. You would hope it would beat Dogman. Is Hard Eyes. That made $8 million. Allie, you said you had bought tickets for Hard Eyes. Did you go see it?
I did go see it. Yeah, I was surprised to see that it did not make more money than that. But the theater that I did go on Sunday. This was way before the Super Bowl aired, but the theater was pretty much empty. No shocker there. And the theater in general, like when we walked out into the lobby after the movie finished, was like a ghost town. So if you enjoy counter programming and don't want to go to the Super Bowl, going to a movie on that day is great because there's no one there. But yeah, I really actually enjoyed Hard Eyes a lot. It was way funnier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a classic slasher horror film. It's more like comedy horror, which I thought was really refreshing and fun.
Okay. So it gets a thumbs up.
It gets a thumbs up for me.
The number 3 movie at the box office was Love Hurts, which was it feels like it was advertised a lot, at least in my experience, with a Ki Hoi Kwan and Ariana DeBose, I think, is in it. Anyways, it only made $5 million. Not a good weekend despite all the advertising, it didn't seem like that worked because it only made $5 million.
Yeah, I know that one we talked about on Friday as well. That one did not have very good reviews, so not shocked to see it didn't do very well. Hard Eyes did, though. Hard Eyes had really good reviews, and so I'm honestly quite shocked that it didn't make more. But again, it's Super Bowl weekend. I feel like it'll have some legs heading into next weekend with it actually being Valentine's Day weekend. I could see a lot of people picking up that film and I'm watching that one.
And it also seems too like there's been a higher than normal percentage of movies coming out that are like horror films.
Yeah.
Companion just came out. We had Wolfman a few weeks back. Like there's been maybe just, you can't go see all of them.
True.
So what I saw recently, I've been going through all the Oscar movies. I think I'm going to make it. I don't know. I've got 3 weeks left.
Okay.
And so I watched The Substance, which stars Demi Moore and Margaret. Is it Qualley? I don't know.
I think it's Qualley. Yeah.
And it's a body horror film, not the type of film that normally gets nominated for the Oscars at all. Mm-hmm. They usually shy away from horror stuff. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to handle it. All the reviews are like, this is so shocking, so disgusting, and whatever. I will say, I believe it's rated R. It earns the R rating, not just from the horror stuff, but also there's a lot of nakedness of Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, but there is some aspects of it where they're clothed, where it's like trying to emphasize whatever, because Margaret Qualley's version of Demi Moore is like she's leading a fitness class. And the thing is like, oh, look at how much younger and sexier she is. And Demi Moore's whatever. But like the parts where the premise of the movie is Demi Moore gets fired from her job as a TV fitness coach, whatever. She gets this thing about there's this substance you can take and it makes you the younger, better version of you, which causes Margaret Qualley to like spawn out of her. And then they're like two different people, but it's the same person. And so like some of the transformation, it always takes place while they're naked or whatever. Which is, so again, it's not like, oh, naked. It's like, So I'm just warning, if you choose to see the movie, that is something to take into account. It is frightening. I was surprised that I was able to make it through, and it culminates in just a absolutely absurd culmination that I do not want to spoil.
Okay.
But it says a lot about like the like a lot of idolizing your younger self, like chasing fame, never feeling like you're pretty, aging and all this stuff. Like it has a lot of good themes, and I think a useful message to say. Yeah. Yes, it just tells it in an absolutely horrifying way, a very jarring way.
Sounds like it. I mean, I've never heard you scream like that.
But I'm very hesitant and resistant to horror stuff.
I was going to say, you don't usually watch horror.
And I made it through.
Okay.
And it's not like gory, but it is like, it's body horror. So like some of it is stuff that like, oh, if this happened to me, I would hate it. And some of it is crazy because it's a person transforming into another person. Some of it is believable in a way that it's like, oh, I hate it. So,
yeah, no thanks.
It's a tough watch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if Demi Moore wins the Oscar, she deserves that.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Okay.
Anyways, that's your box office breakdown. Donald Trump is in the news.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Our president. And what we are going to focus on here is his decision. He has directed the Treasury Department to stop minting pennies. So I guess that we are going to eat into the deficit literally 1 penny at a time. He even said that. He said, let's rip the waste out of our great nation's budget, even if it's a penny at a time.
Yeah, it's been clear that he's very focused on that, saving money and all, and cutting in any way that he can with the budget and spending. This was not how I expected him to do it, but when you look into it, I guess it does kind of make sense, because to make a penny, the cost of making a penny is more than a penny.
Right.
So, which makes sense. So why are we making pennies?
Yeah, and you think about the longevity of a penny.
Yeah.
Like, look at the pennies that you probably have stuck between your seats somewhere in your cup holder right now or whatever in your car. And those pennies probably saved from like 1980 or something. Like what happens to a penny unless you put it in one of those machines at the zoo that turns it into an elephant or whatever? Like, what's happening to pennies that you can get pennies that are like covered in gunk. Yeah. They have so much stuff on them, and they'll still accept them if you ever want to take them somewhere.
Right.
The pennies, they never go bad.
Right.
And we don't need more of them, I feel.
Yeah.
This is not a political stance. It's just like, I just feel like, okay, like, I don't even know why we were making them in the first place.
And let's be real. When was the last time you got your pennies out and actually used them?
The zoo to make an elephant.
Right. Like, or you're at the mire and you put it in the little horse thing that takes a penny still, which is miraculous.
Yeah.
How is that thing still taking a penny? How have they not price gouged that?
I think that's because the horse's name is Penny.
That's true. I forgot about that. I think that's true. I think it says penny, right?
Probably, yeah.
Maybe
that's the only thing that makes sense.
Mandela effect. We don't really know. Tell us. Text in 8772 radio.
I know people know this.
Is the horse's name Penny? We can't remember, but you're supposed to put a penny in, and so that's the only time I can remember myself actually using a penny, because most of the time I'm just like receiving pennies from like McDonald's or something when I go pay with cash for whatever reason, and I'm like, what am I going to do with this change?
They're
now?
like an inconvenience, and we can always round to the nearest 5 on anything.
Yeah.
I think it would save gas stations a lot of trouble from having to have that little tray anymore. So Lindsay says the Meyer horse is named Sandy.
Oh, okay. Well, see, Mandela effect.
Yeah.
We thought it was Penny.
We
We associate it with pennies.
Right. Yeah. I just feel like it's, I don't even know what she does cost a penny according to Lindsay. Well, we know that.
We know that part.
Yeah. Well, this will only cause trouble for Meyer. Everybody else, if we stop making pennies, I think the United States will just keep on turning.
Yeah.
And now, how much money will that save?
At least one
fractions
penny.
of a penny for every penny that is made, I suppose. That is not made. Well, one of the big parts of the Super Bowl, of course, outside of the game, is the commercials. Allie, what did you think? Do you have any favorites from last night? People can send them in at 8772 Radio U. What did you think?
I think I definitely had some ones that I never want to see again. The one that I absolutely hated, that was like, this is going to be my nightmares, is the Mountain Dew one.
The seal?
The seal.
I loved that one.
Seal being seal.
That
seal.
was the only commercial that I walked away like, that is a great commercial. Actually, no, there was 2.
Okay.
There was that one, but I think the odd thing about that commercial is, and this is my thing about the celebrities, what percentage of people are watching that going, I don't get the joke at all?
Yeah, true.
Like, it's just a guy as a seal, but
Right.
like, I don't get it. Of course, if you didn't know, the guy who sings that song that is A Kiss from a Rose, and then they switched it to be about Mountain Dew Baja Blast, his name, at least his stage name, is Seal.
Right.
But I thought that was a great commercial.
I love that song.
Because it gets your attention.
Yeah, it's true. It does get your attention. I love that song though, so it kind of like almost ruined it for me a little bit. Not gonna lie, but yeah, that's gonna haunt me. That seal image is gonna haunt me for sure. The one that I really liked, and I still came away liking it. After yesterday, even though I had already seen it, and that was the Hellman's Harry Met Sally moment. I thought that was so funny with seeing, Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan back together again.
And then that's Sydney Sweeney at the end, right? A little cameo from her as well.
Yep.
To try to appeal to the people who have never seen When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, they're like, what's this movie?
There's such like a generational divide, I feel, in so many of the commercials. Then, okay, so there's 2 other ones, 3 that got my eye.
Okay.
The best commercial, as far as like catching your attention besides the Seal Mountain Dew one, was right at the beginning when it's Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt, and they're like announcing whatever, and Stitch is on the field for the Stitch movie.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like played like this is real, and it's so like if you were paying attention to the game, you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Right.
Even though it's very clear that obviously it's not real, like it still is presented in a way that you don't realize it's not real until you already have your attention,
Yeah, that was a clever thing to do.
That was well done.
Yes.
Even though I don't know what's wrong with the old animated Lilo and Stitch. I don't know why we have to redo all of these things.
Yeah.
Also, How to Train Your Dragon.
There is nothing wrong with Lilo and Stitch.
That's right.
Nothing.
The WeatherTech one, do you remember that? That was confusing to me.
I don't know if I may have missed that one because again, I was watching this while also playing pickleball.
It was bunch of old ladies in like a convertible, and they're getting all into all these crimes and whatever. And then at the end, she's the old lady that's driving is like, it's no matter. I got WeatherTech or whatever. And it's like, I don't even know what WeatherTech is. What is this commercial?
I think WeatherTech is like, it protects your interiors, right, of your car.
I guess. So maybe like just the same way that if you did crimes and whatever,
it protects
you just get away with them the same way. Like, oh no, I spilled something in my car. I don't know.
Yeah.
It caught my attention. I just didn't understand it. And then the bad commercial is the commercial that was all in black and white for ChatGPT.
Okay.
Did you see this one?
Mm-mm.
It was very easy to ignore, except that I only noticed it because it's like, I noticed at a party, I was like, what the heck is, what is this commercial that's like nothing going on? It's just a bunch of black and white animations. And then they're like, ChatGPT. It's like, you used AI to make the most boring to make a commercial in black and white?
This is just giving us more fuel for the fire of being like, get AI out of our lives.
You could have done something, I don't know, creative, like something crazy that only AI could generate that like doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Let's make a commercial in black and white that looks like Pong.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a big waste of money.
I'll have to go watch that one now.
But it did get my attention, but not in a good way.
Not in a good way. In a way of like, why is this on my screen?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.